to my YouTube channel. This is Dr. Stephanie, your life coach and physician. And I have been giving some summer self-care tips. And so we are on the last summer self-care tip, and this is tip number 4. And if you haven't seen the previous videos, I invite you to go back and look at the previous videos because there's some really good tips. They're not your regular go out, take a swim, go on vacation. Those things are wonderful, get your mani and pedi. But this is self-care, which is designed to provide you with radical self-care. And what I mean by that is I mean the type of self-care that fills you up on the inside so that you're able to continue to do those things that you enjoy doing. And that gives you the fuel for all of the doing that you have to do at work, in your family, in your community, in your organizations, all of the doing. And, you know, the world we live in right now, there's a lot to be done. And even if we don't choose to participate in all those things, which is a wonderful act of self-care, there's still a lot of things that we have to do personally. And so taking care of ourselves and filling our own cup is so important. And so I approach this from a deeper perspective. So I'll just briefly review what the first 3 were, and then I'll talk about the 4th self-care tip. So the first one, and they are all based on the acronym of SOAR, which is the brand of my podcast and the brand of my group. And the first one, which represents an energy block, is self-love. So the S stands for self-love. The O stands for overcoming limiting beliefs. When we overcome those limiting beliefs, that can block anything that's standing in the way from us getting the most self-care that we need, from us doing those things that provides the self-care that we need. The third one is the A, and that's for adaptability. Sometimes we're just not adaptable enough, and things are constantly changing. So learning how to be more adaptable is a great form of self-care. And the final one, the 4th one, is the one that I want to talk about today, and that is realign. And when I say realign, I am a realignment coach. So my whole coaching philosophy is built around realignment. When I say realign, I mean realigning with your most authentic self. And that can involve lots of different things. But the bottom line is that you realign with your most authentic self. Because honestly, many of us get off track. If you think about all of the ways that we contort ourselves to try to fit into the standards and expectations placed on us by society, placed on us by our family, placed on us by our churches. Very well-meaning, most of the time, institutions and people. But when we are constantly contorting and changing ourselves, then we can sometimes become out of alignment with our most authentic self. And how do we know when we're out of alignment? And then there's one important realignment that I didn't talk about because I'm going to talk about that later. We know we're out of alignment when we just feel off, when we feel like, okay, I've done all of these things I wanted to do in my life. I've checked all the boxes, but I don't feel the way I thought I was going to feel. I don't have that excitement and that joy about waking up every day to just kind of take on the world. Something is just off. It's not right. That's how you know that you need to realign. Because when you're aligned with your most authentic self, the decisions that you make, the actions that you take are all in alignment with that. And they bring you joy because they're in alignment with the purpose for which you were placed on this earth. So the one institution I didn't mention, I mentioned society, I mentioned our parents, I mentioned our church, but there's another institution that can cause us to not be in alignment with our most authentic selves. And that's our jobs, our job. Sometimes showing up professionally at work is at odds with us showing up as our most authentic self. I experienced that myself. As a physician, for many years, I tried to show up as what the organization told me was professional. And to me, that meant not connecting with the patient too much, remaining that kind of like that barrier of professionalism, almost like a hierarchical, I am the one who has the knowledge, you're the one who's seeking the knowledge. I know everything that I'm supposed to know and never need to ask questions. not sharing anything personally, not being overly warm, or all of these different ideas that were fed to me about professionalism. Being able to do absolutely everything that the organization says you're supposed to do: manage hypertension, manage diabetes, have everybody's numbers under control, have this number of patients seen in this amount of time, and do it all, with a smile and in less than 15 minutes. And it became exhausting because I went into medicine to really actually be able to help people heal. And healing sometimes cannot be done in under 15 minutes. Being able to connect with your patient so that you can have a life transforming conversation can't always be done in less than 15 minutes. And so that cognitive dissonance, that friction between who I authentically was, even the way I talk, the way I come across as a Black woman, as a smart Black woman, as a sensitive Black woman, felt like it was against those ideals of professionalism. And me not being able to be my authentic self caused me much pain in my profession, and also caused me to not be able to meet those standards because those standards weren't really part of who I was. So now I have been able to realign with my most authentic self, and I show up for my patients the exact same way I want physicians to show up for me and to show up for my family. And I show up as me. And if that means that I have a little bit more twang in my voice, or I might use a colloquialism, or I might, spend more than 15 minutes, that's okay, because I'm being my authentic self. Because putting that mask on and being what I thought I needed to be was exhausting. Not only was it exhausting physically, it was exhausting emotionally. It was causing me to feel very burnt out. So my self-care tip number 4 for the summer is to realign with your most authentic self. Whether that be at home, whether that be at work, whether that be in your community or your institutions, whatever that means to you, realign with your most authentic self. And if you don't know how to do that, I am here. Feel free to reach out and set up a free complimentary session with me, and I can certainly help you along that path of doing that. That's what I wanted to share for my self-care summer tip number 4. Thank you. Enjoy the summer. Bye-bye for now.